Hello and welcome back to Cracking On with the Sun. We are here for our final instalment of the week.
You got that Friday feeling?
I really do today, yes, absolutely.
You?
And I love, because Fridays are always like such a good episode, so I'm excited about tonight's. Obviously, massive cliffhanger last night. It was very tense.
I don't know. It felt, I don't know whether they're all getting like a bit of fatigue. Because there's been a lot that's gone on in that villa. Casa and Moore usually gives them all a bit of a break. You know, it sort of feels like they get that space from each other.
And going on holiday, it's all exciting.
I don't know. It felt like everyone's just maybe a bit worn down with all the situations and stuff. Because that game got salty, didn't it?
Unnecessarily so.
Yeah.
I found it so awkward. I mean, I was loving every single second of it. I love when they're like that. I don't like it when it's all like they're all really friendly and all in love. I like it.
You
fighting.
like the beefy.
I
you
like
salt beef.
I really do. I love a bit of salt beef. And I just found the whole Chris and Joanna thing really odd. How that became such a big issue. Why did Joanna cry?
Yeah, I don't know.
She did. She doesn't like Chris.
No.
She's said everything. Yeah, she spoke to him, but she didn't tell him the truth.
No.
Did she?
No.
Because
it was him.
She
that
was
had
like,
to
"Oh no, I'm still like wanting to get to know you," but she'd already told Arabella that she didn't want to, and she had got the ick.
Yeah, 100%. And it was up to Chris to say, was it my speech? She wasn't like honest about that, was she? Yeah, I don't think she's...
exactly.
Yeah.
And it was like literally the speech.
I wonder if, as is quite often the way, it's when people get caught out for their behaviour that then they become upset.
Yes.
I think that she's upset. She was upset about potentially being called out about her behaviour. I don't think she's necessarily done anything wrong. No,
she hasn't. And so I think for her to cry, it's as if, I don't know. I just think it made it more of an issue than it needed to be. And Chris is so passive aggressive, and I've really gone off him. I've really gone off him.
Just the whole game last night just left me feeling a bit like sad for them all. I don't know. It just all felt
It highlighted that there's really not one strong person, strong couple in there. At least Georgia still managed to sort of avoid quite a lot of the drama.
I thought what was quite good is there was a point where she went, And if Georgia Steele has even got tired of defending herself, then I think we can all agree that maybe they need their day off this weekend. Get that McDonald's. You know, they always get a McDonald's on their day off. I don't know whether they have McDonald's in Cape Town, but certainly in Mallorca, that's what happens on the day off. They all get their McDonald's.
How do they still look like that?
Genetics. I always wonder, right, so this is a huge tangent. Normal people that aren't like gods and goddesses get bloated, you know, have a milky coffee and, you know, are potentially a bit dairy intolerant. All the really boring, normal human stuff. Time of the month for the girls. None of them ever seem to be affected by that.
Absolutely not. They just look stunning all of the time.
I know. Is that just genetics?
Yeah, I think so. And I think
when they go and get their alleged filler and nose jobs and things, do you think they also have like digestive system jobs so that they don't bloat?
You get that?
I would love that.
I would really like that.
So you don't bloat like normal people.
I mean, it probably.
Oh my God, someone invented that.
Is that on the NHS by chance?
The Love Island Transformation Starter Pack. Love that.
So there's big news, right?
Yeah, so obviously Maya, it was the final question, and I did enjoy how they all suddenly realised, oh no, this is probably who's going to be going home, the least compatible couple, as we said yesterday. But then Maya revealed it isn't a couple that will be going, it's a boy and a girl. So the Islanders could just choose one of the couples. You know, they're all going in for Joe and Chris. They could just send them packing, or they could choose pick and mix. Who do you think's going?
It's quite a big pick and mix, actually, isn't it?
There's a lot of them. 8.
Yeah, and I don't know how it all kind of ended up, because it was so focused on Chris and Joanna. I thought it would be kind of a clean sweep.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that I would assume those two because of the whole drums. And also the reaction. I think everyone got so defensive about it and stuff. Like maybe they feel like they have to stick to their guns on it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. What I think we'll be very interested to see is how it shakes everything up. Because if they are, I'm saying this knowing who goes, so I'm trying to be really careful.
Yeah, but if you're breaking up, I think what you're trying to say is you're breaking up two. Well, you've ended two romances when we've only got a week to go.
Yeah. So does that potentially put other people back in play? Does it free someone from a situation?
Does it end something before it's already begun?
So I think it's the shake-up that we need because I think everyone, I was just chatting to someone else in the office this morning and they feel like it's
You have other friends in the office?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still getting to know other people.
Can't believe it.
Amanda, the attachment issues.
Sorry, yeah.
We've talked about this.
You're coming on too strong. Doing a Chris Taylor.
You've got the ick. It feels like the movie night last Friday was a really big moment.
Yeah.
It feels like much more recently than last Friday, but that was a really big moment. Everyone was really excited. It actually was the series' best rated episode so far. So, you know, that reflected, I think everyone was really looking forward to it. It was a big moment in the series. Doesn't feel like we've necessarily, things just feel a bit messy. It doesn't really feel like we've got a clear focus at the minute. And I get that can happen because let's not forget they're real people with real emotions. It's not just a script. But it doesn't feel like there's that big for the final week like there sometimes is.
No, not at all. And I'm really worried about next week, and it's because that whole Anton asking out Georgia in front of everyone. I'm just so worried that all of next week will consist of that with couples that we know it's not genuine at all.
Oh no!
And that's what we have to suffer through, like the
Not
whole
will
week.
You be my girlfriend week.
Well, yeah, because we do normally get that. But I think after like 2 months, you know, in there and maybe they coupled up in the first week, I can accept it.
Yeah.
But this time, no, I'm just not, I'm not up for it.
Right, we need to talk about Georgia and Anton then, don't we?
Yes.
So, you tell me what you think. I'll tell you what I think.
I think it's a no.
Oh!
I think it's a no. I think it's a no. I think it's a real trying from her point of view, but it just screams friendship.
I've got two perspectives to share here. So the first is my own. Initially I thought, oh, she's going in her PJs. There's nothing quite like the block of going to bed in PJs. But then I thought, Georgia has been through a hell of a lot because of her sex life being made public. Like, let's not forget Stephen Bear, obviously the revenge porn, you know, he made public a tape that she hadn't given consent for and all that kind of thing. Like, of course she doesn't want to be getting jiggy in any kind of way. She probably doesn't want to be in that light at all. So I think actually, on reflection, it was probably unrealistic of us to expect that there would be any of that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
So I think it's really nice that it was quite like a safe, comfy vibe. Because why would she want to do that, having been through such a huge ordeal, having been in that exact kind of space?
But I wonder, do you think that was said to Anton? Maybe that wasn't shared.
Yeah, definitely. Because none of the girls said anything like, "Oh, let's find you something sexy." Anton was fully clothed. I think that was absolutely a conversation that had already happened, and it was very. We're just having a night, spending some time together. We'll cuddle, we'll chat, and it was very. You know, there was no discussion about what's in the cupboard or anything, was there?
No.
So
it's really stripped back. It was a completely different hideaway experience to what we're used to.
It really was.
And I think it was a welcome break because I just find that whole thing really cringe when we've got them parading around in their kind of sex outfits in front of everyone. Like, why? Why do they do that?
I know.
And then they waltz in, and it's just all really the pressure of it. It's not natural.
No.
And I think that they played it really well. But I'm sorry, I don't see it. And I think that the more that they are forced, the more that they feel pressure from other people, I think they've got to stand by the decision now. So it becomes even more forced. You know, they're saying, no, absolutely, we are pushing this romance.
I forgot about pushing the romance.
Pushing the romance.
Wow, throwback. So my second perspective on this situation actually comes from someone who is registered, experienced professional in the realms of psychology and human relationships. So I've spoken to Eimear O'Neill. She's a clinical hypnotherapist, and she knows all about relationships, and particularly loves looking at the Islanders. And I asked her this morning, Georgia and Anton, is it real? And she said 100%. Because she says there are micro expressions that give the game away. Like, unless someone is an incredibly good actress or actor, she said things which were initially you could see on Georgia's face were her having the ick and not being fully involved are gone.
That's so interesting.
And the really interesting that she said is that Georgia is someone, probably the only person in that villa who has gone away and really healed and done the work on themselves. And you could see she was falling into those same patterns of the bad boys, the Josh, the Casey, realised, I'm doing the same thing that I always do. Hang on a second. Let me really look at my emotions here.
Let's go meditate and sort through this.
Yeah, and let's get my head and my heart aligned. And it was super fascinating. We also spoke about Molly and Callum, whether she thinks they're fixable.
Exciting.
We also talked about Chris, why he is how he is.
Yeah.
And also Georgia Steele, real life snake or real life expert TV reality queen.
This is fascinating.
I know.
So take a look.
I think we're seeing a turning point for Georgia Harrison. And I think this is something that a lot of viewers can take hope from. You know, if they have been attracted to the bad boy before, if they find they keep going to the wrong person and they don't know how to change, Georgia H is an example of how you can do that. We know that she was on a spiritual retreat. So she's done a lot of self-reflection. She's probably thought a lot about the future that she wants and how what she was doing in the past was not getting her there. And so she came into the villa with this new awareness. That doesn't mean you've changed on the inside, right? And so a lot of people, when they do personal development, get to the point where they know what their problem is, but they're still not changed on the inside. And so we could see her slipping into her old patterns, going to the unavailable guys, going to the guys who weren't interested in her and demanding to know what was wrong with her. You know, she was just looking for hurt in all of these guys. And then she had a wake-up moment where she realized in her head she was saying all of these things that she wanted. And here was Anton, who was all of those things that she wanted. And she had to really look at why she wasn't going for him and why she wasn't choosing him. So I think she had this beautiful moment of reconciling what she wanted with how she felt on the inside. And then you see the change happens.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that they're absolutely going to be perfect together forever, but Anton, I know that in her history of her life, he is going to be a turning point of somebody that showed her how she could be loved and that what she wanted was available to her. But I think if she was acting and if she was getting the ick, we would see it in her face. I really think we have these little micro expressions when somebody does something we don't like and you'd see it. But if you look at her face, even when Anton made his speech, which a lot of us might have found a bit cringe, she was beaming.
Yeah.
And that did not
right.
waver. Yeah. And if she was acting, she wouldn't have been so drawn to him in that way.
What are the kind of micro expressions that people sort of give the game away?
You notice Joanna and Chris, there was a moment that happened between them when she was starting to realize she didn't like him and she was just annoyed at him. And she said, no, stop. So
Yeah.
little things like that, where it comes out before you have a chance to think about it, where they annoy you and you react before you have a chance to think about it, because our brains are moving faster than our mouths.
So speaking of people who sort of aren't very good at sharing their real emotions, another one we're really interested in is Chris Taylor.
Oh,
So he has the classic, it looks like he masks everything with humour. Is that what's
yeah.
going on here?
Yeah, humor works for him, and we repeat what works for us. So if humor has got people to like him in the past, then it's something he can fall back on and rely on. When actually, I think Chris is very sensitive. I think he's very insecure. He even said that to Arabella on their date. And I think he's very hard on himself as well. So if he's feeling all these hard emotions and he knows that humor is his safe place, then he's going to fall back to humor. But as we see with Joanna and with Arabella now, it doesn't always land the way he wants it to land. So Chris needs to develop the ability to balance his humor with sincerity.
So someone similarly who people can't quite work out is Georgia Steele. So is she really just following her heart, and everything that she's done in there was because Toby, it was all about Toby? Or is she just knows that she's great telly and is just creating all these storylines?
I think she knows she's on Love Island and that a love triangle is not a problem on Love Island because it's good telly. And so I think she might be going in with a set of values that is very different to the other islanders who are really trying to find love. I'm thinking of Callum, for example, or Molly. And when you're in dating, in the real world even, you're going to meet people who have different values to you. It's not a problem. Once you realize what their values are, you just accept them as they are. And if that's not your values, you move on. And I think with Georgia Steele, we're being so hard on her. The viewing public is being so hard on her. And I think part of that reaction is, it's a very strong reaction. And I think part of it is people want to believe that they can protect themselves from getting hurt by somebody like Georgia Steele. And so if they can criticize her and punish her enough, it'll tell the whole world that that's not acceptable and don't treat me that way. And so I do think she is going to have a really hard time when she comes out of the villa. And I hope that the media and the public will be kind to her because she's just a person. I think she's doing the best she can with the awareness that she has. But I think being a little bit younger than the other islanders, she may be less aware of the consequences of her behavior.
Yeah.
And she may value empathy a little bit less than others and integrity a little bit less than others as well. And so she's prioritizing herself over thinking about how the others feel. And she has a different definition of honesty than the other islanders. If she's honest in the moment, that's honest to her. But for the other islanders, it's if that changed, you have to update us.
Yeah.
So she just has a different definition of things. And that may be because she's young. It may be just who she is. And she might find a partner who matches that perfectly. But I think we have to just let her be where she is on her journey.
The biggie, Callum and Molly.
Oh.
So they obviously went back in there, not knowing each other were going to be there. They were exes. There's been moments where they look like they've still got that fondness for each other. What do you think of Callum and Molly?
Oh, I have so much compassion for the situation they're in. I can't imagine a more difficult situation to be thrown into the villa and watch your ex cracking on with other people. And they've handled it so nicely. I think Love Island has been good for them no matter what, because we can see that Molly came in with a lot of hurt still. The way she was talking to Callum, she was really hurting and she wanted him to know that. And now we've seen her progress and they're able to have this friendship. So regardless of whether they can reunite or not, I think it's been really good for them as friends. But I do see a possibility for them to reunite. I don't often say that about exes. Sometimes it ends for a reason. But I think in the case of Molly and Callum, it's a case of skills, relationship skills that might have been lacking that they can develop, rather than a case of compatibility, which you can't change. You are who you are and you can't change that. Yeah. And we see how fond they are of each other. They respect each other still. They have each other's back. Especially you saw at the PDA Awards, the conversation that Molly and Callum had after that, they've got each other's backs, and I know that they know they can rely on each other. They're on each other's team, and that's the foundations for a good relationship. And they also have fun when they're chatting together. You can see the energy that they have together is so beautiful. I don't know if you remember the scene from Unseen Bits where Molly was doing Callum's makeup. She was putting the star on him. They were having so much fun. And that was still when they hadn't fully rekindled their friendship. So I think they have the foundations for a good relationship, and what they need is to develop the skills, the healthy communication skills, and maybe heal the hurt as well so that they can start afresh.
So last question, which couple do you think, now they might not currently be together, but who do you think in there stands maybe the best chance of working on the outside?
I think I have the same answer as a lot of people. I think if Molly and Callum got back together, they could go the distance.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to see it on Love Island because Tom is not wavering. There's no reason for Molly and Tom to separate. So I don't know if we'll see it on Love Island, but I do think out of all of them, they have the most aligned values and they have a deep respect for each other. And I think they have the foundations to make it work on the outside.
Oh, I love that. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been so, so interesting. And we'll go get our hats for Molly and Callum's wedding.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you think we'll actually get invited to the wedding? I feel like we need to play them like parts of the podcast where we've been so team Molly and Callum get back together.
And I'll be like, guys, don't worry if you don't want to go see some sort of like relationship counsellor. Just have this chat that we've done with Eimear and then go for it. Go.
I mean, I know that I have obviously totally got the whole Georgia and Anton thing wrong, having listened to all of that.
It made sense, right?
But I do think that I have got it right about Callum and Molly, because I've said that from the off, that it was just about this, like, the communicative issue of them not being able to get past this one argument that they were having. And actually, if they could do that, they would be really solid.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can still pretend that I'm a bit of a, like, psychologist,
Oh
think,
my God.
like a very amateur one.
Yeah, totally. You've done the work.
I try. I'm just trying to live my Georgia Harrison lifestyle.
Oh, be more Georgia. Yeah, I love it. I also really love what Eimear said about how, like, regardless of if Georgia and Anton work on the outside, Anton will forever be a really big part of her journey because he is the one that helped her realise she could find that love.
Oh, that's so nice.
You know, sometimes they're not the one, but they're a one. You know what I mean? And I think that's really lovely. And I think Anton would really take something from that.
Yeah. And I think, side note, it must be so fascinating to be in a situation like the Islanders, where not once but twice now they've been filmed and they can watch themselves back and watch their own decisions and how they come across in an argument and all of that kind of stuff. I had an exclusive this week about Faye Winter.
Oh, yeah?
Who I really wanted to go on to All Stars.
Yeah.
Kind of so gutted that she hasn't so far, you know, a week ago. She was talking about heartbreaks on Boots have got another podcast that was about taboo talk. So they sort of open up about issues, and hers was focused on heartbreak, and she's been so honest about how much she did struggle after Teddy. And within that, she actually had mentioned how in an argument she found like she was struggling, like how did she come across, how was that, you know, it descends into a big row, like what does she sound like, so she actually recorded her arguments with Teddy, and she's got them on her phone still, which is a bit, I think she did say, she did add slightly psychotic, but with Love Island, being able to see yourself of how you row, how you communicate with someone, everything, it would be so interesting, it would be so self-reflective.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You could
that has really shocked me. Like,
I wonder if she kind of, you know, when you just chat on a podcast like this and you go, oh my God, actually just say that. You know, maybe there's a bit of panic afterwards, but she said that she was...
Presumably, you know, she's... probably important to point out, she didn't record it to then expose him. It was all for her own.
Yeah. I mean, she does go in on him. It's well worth a listen, because she really does go in.
Oh, God. Well, obviously, Faye as well. We know that she's fiery. She was Love Island's most complained about moment ever with Ofcom, wasn't she? Famously fiery.
Well, she said she stayed in the relationship longer than she should have. Mainly because of that, because of how she knew how she came across on the show, and she feared the backlash. So she worried about how she would be the villain, no matter what. She would be the villain, and so it just that really. And so that's another interesting point, is that when you've seen yourself in that light, I mean, I think that really shook her up, being that Ofcom, you know, moment of the series, and the reaction that she got, and she still gets abuse for it now, and so she's had to sort of self-reflect and like really work on herself. So she didn't date for a year. She's like really tried to do the work. It was really interesting with that.
God, this has become quite an intellectual pod today, hasn't it?
Well, God. Has it? But we're trying.
Yeah, right. Like, bring the tone down immediately.
Yes,
Detective Devlin.
That is not bringing the tone down. I dispute this. But yes, yesterday you kind of sent me a bit of a mission.
Yeah.
So it's about the Wes and Arabella, you know, awkward reunion.
Did they really not talk?
Or was it a reunion? It absolutely was not. So my villa spies informed me that he came in. It was genuine shock. She didn't know that he was going in there. He performs, and as soon as he was finished, out the door, there was no communication between them at all, no chatting. It was a proper snub.
I want to talk to you about Maya Jama's outfits. So I have noted, so I know we talked about this before, about how, you know, she'd shown that screenshot of her conversation with Stormzy, where he'd said that one's very professional, yet sexy. Last night's was giving Bride, do you not think?
It was giving something beginning with B. It was a lot last night. I don't know whether that was a great... Yeah, I don't know if it was a great bra or it was great contouring, but wow, she looked incredible.
She's got great boobies anyway.
Yeah, she does, but like it was really quite, you know.
Yeah. Back when Maya...
I actually went like that. I didn't mean to do that.
Hope someone screen grabs that moment. But back when Maya used to do fun interviews, and I say that with love, like Maya's now, you know, hugely elevated. She's a Vogue girl. She's not a Closer mag, and love all of the realms of that kind of thing. But she doesn't talk about her boobs anymore. She used to.
I do that for her, clearly.
And she, I think in one chat, she revealed that basically she prayed all of her teenage years for boobs, because she was always very curvy, but no boobs. And she prayed every night for God to bring her boobs. And wow, the power of prayer. You say contour, Maya says God. So there's a lesson for us all there. I will start praying for a digestive system that works.
If that's one way to start believing in God, then yes, absolutely, we're ready.
I know. And the British public, male and female alike, are grateful for that.
It was nice. It was nice to see her back on screen, and I think that she's just like the best Love Islander presenter that we've had. I really love her.
I loved Caroline.
I did love Caroline, but I think I'm mainly just saying that I didn't really like Laura Whitmore very much. I just think there wasn't that. It wasn't natural, and I think Maya is genuinely a huge fan of the show.
Yeah,
and I think that's what Caroline also brought, because it was, you know, that they are invested in these people. They love them. It's like, you know, the Traitors, when all the Traitors have come out on BBC, or they've all came out and said that Claudia knew their name before they'd even met, and I think things like that you can tell with Maya, like she's really researched them all. You know, this is like for a series that they're just newbies, and you just tell she's really invested. And it comes across really professional, and it's just a better show. And you've kind of seen her journey as well, haven't you, that she's just got better with her presenting skills.
Yeah,
because it is a different,
definitely.
it has been like a journey of her work on herself.
Yeah, she's become a lot more articulate and off the cuff, and I'm saying that like I'm some sort of professional. But anyway, Maya's there, and it's not just the eviction of the boy and girl that happens tonight. Are you ready? Tonight. We've got a new bombshell. So,
God, this is good.
Yeah.
A bombshell at this stage is exciting.
yeah, so the Sun revealed earlier that Adam Maxted from series 2. So you might not remember the name, but if I describe to you his sort of journey, that was the series that was won by Cara and Nathan, who are obviously now mummy and daddy to some beautiful babies. Yeah. Adam came in quite late and coupled up with Katie Salmon.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember, he was incredibly muscly then. He was one of the like Love Island beefcakes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And now, when I saw his pictures this morning, the jaw droppeth. He's a professional wrestler now. And so I know I like talking about the throwdown, but he's like a professional throwdown. And we know a lot of the girls in there like a beefcake. So
I think he's going to put all the other guys to shame. They'll be suddenly in that gym.
all of a sudden, did you see last night there was a bit of gym action after Detective Devlin?
Yes, I think they've again been listening and watching the podcast.
Anyway, so Adam is tasked by Maya to steal a girl. So
he's told to.
Yeah, he has to go in and steal a girl, which leaves one boy vulnerable. So,
as in, it could be like a really strong couple, and he's come in.
Yeah,
just
he
gone
can
for
steal
it.
whoever he wants. So a lot happens in tonight's episode. So we don't just lose the boy and the girl as a result of the couple goals. We also have Adam arriving, and then we also have him stealing a girl, and therefore a boy is out.
So
of
another
there.
one. So are we going to see all of that in tonight?
I'm not 100% sure exactly what we'll see, but Adam
I think they'll
sweeps
spread that
in,
out
steals
until
that girl.
Sunday. It'll be like the
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, that'll be the cliffhanger moment.
I think so.
I
But
hate
look,
that because we've got to wait until Sunday. It's so long.
Yeah. But like we said, they need to start cracking through these islanders. So I think we're going to see people leave almost every episode now.
Yeah.
Um,
That's going to be busy for
I
us.
know. So this is what I mean by like, I think that this twist will just start shaking everything up because we're splitting up some couples and then Adam's stealing someone and then someone's sent home and then that's, you know, a lot of shake-up all in the space of one episode essentially. So I think a lot's going to change over the weekend, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Because as I said at the top of the pod, it feels like we need a bit of something to happen. We're sort of in this messy tit-for-tat type scenario.
I just kind of want to get rid of the twins. I just feel like they're bringing absolutely nothing.
Oh, yeah.
So I think, like, get rid of them. Like, I'm just worried that we're going to lose some big characters over the weekend, and
I think we will.
and you know, and that's a shame because obviously we just want to make sure there is as much drama to the very end as possible.
Yeah.
My first thought, which might surprise you,
Go on.
when you mentioned Adam. So I am, always been a huge fan of Love Island, but series 2 is my kind of ultimate favourite series.
Ooh.
It had everything. Name it, it was in it.
Was that the one with the sex above the covers?
It was indeed.
The sexual act and then licking the lips at the camera?
Yes.
Another big moment.
Another big moment. They basically all would just kind of have
Feral.
sex at the same time, all of them together in this
Yeah.
room, and they would openly like watch each other, and it's so different to the modern Love
The
Island
good
now.
old
I'm going to
days.
hark back to the good old days. But it had everything. I don't know. There was a lot more. There was that realness. They would even smoke. So they'd go to the smoking school, and you would get loads of gossip there.
Yeah.
Which I do think we'd lack slightly in that, but I know health first.
Yeah.
But yeah, my first thought was about Adam, how I've always likened Anton to Adam. So for me, Adam is the original Anton.
Ooh.
Because it's that sort of, they're not dissimilar looking, are they?
No.
And also they're both quite beefy into their fitness. And they just have this quality about them, which is potentially brings on the ick, potentially makes you friend-zoned. They have that in common, absolutely, for sure. Adam, I don't think he even had many kisses in his series. He really played it safe. He just wouldn't let anyone in.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see, because we've seen Anton get the girl this time around. You know, for how long, I don't know, after the series, but he's kind of had this like big change in his second time in the villa. So will that happen for Adam? Or like, if he's gone in and stolen the girl straight away, you know, will he be someone who actually does end up like doing a U-turn and it's completely different from his first series and actually finding someone?
Amanda, this girl is thrilled to be stolen by Adam.
Oh my God, I love this.
I know.
I can't wait until, if this is going to be Sunday, I can't wait.
It's so exciting. I think that they
So this is, you think this is going to be a potential like really good couple?
I don't know. It might just be that she like really fancies him.
Yeah.
And like, having seen the picture, fair.
He's really
He's
like,
He's massive.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Gladiators is back.
Yeah.
You know, Giant.
Yes.
The one that's
a giant.
I've met Giant, and his quads.
Have you?
His quads. Now, I'm not a small girl, but his quads are genuinely the size of my torso. And
I could just imagine you like lost for words. Like,
surrounded by
it's like you're
lycra.
trying to be a professional, interview him. Like, your thighs.
And Adam's it's giving Gladiator.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Yeah.
So I think that we're going to be in a very different place come Monday when we're talking about people. So I look forward to that.
Yeah. So next week, massive week, and we're going to be hearing from lots of different Islanders and some love experts, as we were talking about yesterday. But also we've got some exciting news, because we're going to be joined by Messy Mitch again, but live from South Africa. He is jetting back there for the final. So we're going to talk to him and get all of the gossip about what's going on, what the mood is like with the other Islanders. And I think it will be interesting to see who doesn't return. Is there any bad blood enough that will stop them heading over there? Who do you think that could do a no-show?
Jake
could get another free holiday out of it though, so I'm like, maybe he might just turn up.
When I
for a
spoke to
bit.
Jake, he just was like so done with it.
So done.
Yeah.
So you think him?
Maybe.
Detective Devlin's going to be getting on this case and finding out who is not going to be flying out there.
What I love is, you know, they're all going to be going back out there for the final, and they'll almost be like, what's happening at the hotel that they're all staying at?
I know that's where we want to be.
Yeah, that's where the real.
But that's
action's
why
gonna
we've
happen.
sent roving reporter Messy Mitch
I can't
out
believe
there.
we've cracking on as recruited Messy Mitch.
We have.
These standards, they are high.
He's getting out there and he's going to get the gossip for us. I have full faith in him. But did you see him? And he was in the Sun. We had some exclusives yesterday about him. So he's been going out with Gemma Lucy. Do you remember Gemma Lucy, fame of Ex on the Beach? I know her better for Celebrity Big Brother. She's quite wild. I think that they are a really unlikely match. I think my jaw dropped when I saw the pictures. But then the more I thought about it, actually, I think he would like that kind of girl. Maybe like put him in his place a little bit.
Chaos.
Yeah, like total chaos. So yeah, we'll have to see. But there's going to be a break because he's flying out for us for Cracking On with the Sun. So I'm really worried that like we're the cause of their romance ending before it's really begun.
No.
Oh no, what if we've done that?
As if. Brilliant. Well, I love that. God, bombshell news.
Yeah.
Quite the bombshell. Love it. Fab. Well, God, on Monday we're going to have so much to talk about.
Yes.
Make sure you come back. Cracking On with the Sun will be here with you on Monday at 5 p.m. with all of that and more.
See you then.